Okay, so look, it is Wednesday, September the 25th. My name is Wes Jones, which, everybody, and a lot of motherfuckers don't give a fuck. But, I'm Wes Jones. And Wednesday, September the 25th, I got my very first cold. I'm feeling under the weather. Um, and this is the first time in 5 years that I've had any illness, sickness, whatever. So I'm extremely disappointed that, my streak is over and that that my record is 5 years so far. So now I'm starting over. I'm going to be hopeful, prayerful, and all of that. But really, what I think, happened was for the first time in my life, I took, I changed working professions, like as far as like the IRS and just a work history or, my whole work career, I pretty much worked in security. I worked like 15 years at one hospital in Florida. I worked 5 years at another hospital. Um, I worked at, so I've worked security at hospitals, and I love it. I love it. It's just a beautiful environment. Um, my first hospital security experience was at Grace Hospital in Detroit. You know, um, Grace Hospital is well known right there on McNichols and Schaefer, or Outer Drive and Schaefer. Um, but and then I worked in then moving to Florida, worked there. But anyway, for the first time this year, like right now, I stepped out of security because there wasn't really too much growth, you know what I mean, from the monetary standpoint. But I stepped out of security and got into where the money is at, which is manufacturing, the factories, Chrysler, Ford, GM, all the distributors or whatever. So, that's where the real money is at. So I'm a virgin to that system. And my illness, the virus that I picked up, I believe I picked it up in the plant. One of the first things I learned is that the plants are not really sanitary. So when you go to that microwave, or when you're in, you go to that refrigerator, or that soda machine, or that coffee machine, just know ain't nobody sanitizing that motherfucker. When you sitting at that table, the lunch counter and them lunch tables and them chairs, and you touching them and moving them, just realize ain't nobody really wiping and sanitizing them motherfuckers. And as you see, it's hundreds of people, so boom. I have not been in that environment full of that many germs ever. you know. So personally, I believe that's what happened. But anyway, it had, so I'm about 56 hours into this. It was an upper respiratory infection. I think the average person probably would have had pneumonia, with all the fluid buildup. But fortunately for me, I've got a productive cough, which allows me to get it up and out. And that's pretty much what your doctor is going to want you to do. Your doctor is going to hope you have a productive cough, because if you do, you can get it out. If you don't have a productive cough, you may end up, fully congested and like pneumonia, where they may have to drain it or, treat it pharmaceutically. So I didn't need no pharmaceuticals, didn't take nothing, just my faith and my own immune system. And we winning, So 56 hours in, I feel probably about 70%. So we still got a little ways to go. But anyway, let me hurry up before I lose you. So we're going to touch bases real quick on what's going on in the United States right now as it pertains to Donald Trump. Okay, so as I said in the last episode, they got away with it. Everybody saw election night that it was bullshit. Um, the intelligence agencies around the world supplied enormous information about this fraudulent behavior to our government and to the world news organizations. So after the election, we all know what happened. Okay, so it ain't about what you know; it's what you can prove. So through just straight up gangster bully tactics, refusing to acknowledge political, our courts, our judges, our representatives, the systems, just by refusing to adhere to these systems and being very disrespectful to the process and doing everything disrespectful and ignorant to the people, just really was trying to administratively apply the law. They pulled it off. They got away with it. We have a president that was installed by a cyber attack from the Russian intelligence community, and it was very effective. And now we have our first Russian president, and the first lady happens to be a Russian, person that I believe is just assigned to this dude to keep him focused. But anyway, so that's what happened. So now yesterday probably is one of the is probably going to go down in history as a very, very, very significant day in American history. Yesterday, the House representative leader, along with the House representatives from the Democratic Party, reached a vote count Monday morning. The votes to impeach President Trump was probably at about 130. So after the news came out about what this idiot just got caught doing, which is he was on the phone with the president of Ukraine, who has been waiting for about $400 million worth of financial aid that was appropriated by the United States Congress last year. Mr. Trump was on the phone with this man suggesting, I will release the money if you help me sink my opponent, which is completely illegal. It's treason. It's a crime. Well, they got a couple of little bullshit memos and, misinterpretations of the Article 2 of the Constitution and, just some bullshit. But from a political standpoint, Donald Trump pretty much put a bullet in his own chest. So now he's on life support today, and he's going to come out with all kind of enormous lies. I mean, we getting ready to go through it. There could even be a mass shooting. Today's Wednesday. By the weekend, we could get a mass shooting in the United States of America that might incorporate 20 to 30 people, because these Trump supporters, these white nationalists, these Russians, these Saudis, these North Koreans, all of these people are playing for keeps. They playing gangster tactics to win political power. Unfortunately, we have not stepped up to meet that challenge. So anyway, where are we at today? So yesterday was a beautiful day in terms of politics. The Democratic Party went from a vote count of 136, probably Monday. They need 218 votes to take the impeachment to the floor of the House of Representatives in order to win, in order to have that impeachment stamped and put into the history books and proceed forward, they need 218 votes. So, as I said, Monday they had 135. As of last night, as a result of all the information coming out from that illegal phone call, which was pretty much political, not suicide, but he definitely is in intensive care right now. As a result of his behavior last week, that vote count in 24 hours is now over 200. I don't know if it's 201, 202, 203. They only need 218. By noon today, we might be at 218. That means by 6 p.m. tonight, all hell is going to break loose on the world media stage because that number is just going to be blinking. You know what I mean? And if the number continues to grow, as let's just say we wake up tomorrow and they got 250 something votes, or we wake up Thursday and it's the entire Democratic, I don't know if it's 400 and something members, but say it's unanimous. I mean, this shit is really kind of accelerating. So that's a good thing for honest, God-fearing Americans. That means we have a chance to defeat this devil. So again, I just want to say my name is Wes Jones, Citizens United, Hope for America. One of the main things that I'm looking forward to, I'm changing the subject a little bit. Man, I miss working with the kids. I really do. Raising my kids, I coached them. I was the coach, and I put together basketball leagues, and I fought, and I dealt, and it's a beautiful thing to watch these kids, grow up and be a part of their development. And then as you see them become teenagers and young adults, you hope the best for them. And when they're doing well, you feel good because you played a part in that. When they're doing bad, you feel bad because you feel like you could have done more. But at the same time, man, I miss that. So the Citizens United Youth Empowerment Campaign gives me a chance to work with kids from 3 years old to 30. You know what I mean? And we get to get these kids at an early age, and like when they're 3 and 4 years old, and introduce them to kickball and reading. The Read to Achieve program, we encourage reading to get rewarded, to get rewards, to get stuff, to get opportunities, to get food, to get clothes, to get shoes. Read to Achieve. It's a beautiful program, and we started when they're 3 years old with the kickball, which is a physical activity that I found that little kids just absolutely go insane about. They could sit and play kickball for like 5 hours if you let them. But so now let's get back to Russia. So yesterday was a wonderful day. So it was formally announced that the Democrats have formally announced the impeachment inquiry. It is no longer any confusion between Jerry Nadler in one house and Nancy Pelosi in the other house. There's no more confusion. Nancy Pelosi made it very clear yesterday. We are now in an impeachment inquiry, and we're moving forward expeditiously. So, so these are new, like 2 years old. So, when they're making your stuff, you just don't want to come out that chair looking like, like your shit be, we've all seen people with fucked up, government teeth. So I had to get in my man's ass, because I was born with an underbite. My mother got an underbite. I was born with an underbite. This man tried to correct that and had me, looking all funny. So I said, bro, you better put that underbite back, so it's back. You know what I mean? So, I'm 56 hours into this virus, this cold, massive congestion. I think it was the flu. I think I had the flu. I mean, sweating and dizzy. I mean, it was terrible. But I don't know. That could be coming. See, the fact that I ain't had nothing in 5 years got me all dramatic with it and shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the Democrats got some balls and a big sledgehammer yesterday. Today, all the evidence is going to be starting to roll out. We don't know if it's going to be actual evidence or fabricated evidence because it's coming from the Trump people. You know, they don't know how to tell the truth. So they're being forced to roll out what we hope is the real evidence. Either way it go, it's really going to be hard for them to really get out of this one. Because not only is the reporting very detailed and accurate, but Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani has been on in front of the cameras all week, literally confessing to what they've done. So they've given physical confessions. There is detailed reporting. Shit's gonna be coming out Wednesday. They got meetings. This shit's getting wild. So, best case scenario is the evidence reveals so much disturbing material about our so-called president that the people that really just live in an alternate universe and deny facts begin to have a moral conscience and say, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. And you can't keep voting, putting our enormous resources in the hands of such dysfunctional people. And then at the end of the day, we end up with nothing or less than what we had. When we had a $4 trillion bill in our hands and we needed change, and then we gave it to them trusting that they would bring us back some change. And each year we keep ending up with less than what we had. So, we gotta wake up, America. But anyway, I just want to touch bases. This is like my 60 something video. I can go back to like the first 10 videos, and the information that I was saying then is very relevant to what's going on today. I mean, I've been in tune with these fools, simply because I'm very observant, I pay attention, and I'm passionate about it. So I'm not gonna tell you nothing that I don't know for sure. That I'm not. It's not factual. If you hear it come from me, trust me, it's the real deal. Uh, a lot of times I'll be ahead of the game. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they're catching up. You know what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted. This ain't a motherfucker sitting down here just running off at the mouth and don't know what the fuck you talking about. Please believe, trust and believe. Nigga, I know, not only do I know what I'm talking about, it's very relevant to your life and what's going on today. Now, if you don't know what's going on, absolutely it's going to look like it's a nigga just sitting down here running off at the mouth. You know what I mean? But it ain't my fault that you are willful, that you lack knowledge willfully, because you know that the world is in peril. You know that the community is in peril. So the fact that you don't take the time to find out what the fuck is going on and how you might be able to, and it might be in your best interest to open your eyes and kind of get in tune, that ain't my fault, man. You know what I mean? But I don't want to live like that, and I ain't teaching my kids to live like that. I'm leading from example, talking the talk, walking the walk, and I'm hoping my sons, my daughters, my grandkids will see my words and my actions and take similar paths. Peace. Holla.